Hey there, and welcome back to the Transformers the Game 2.0 mod. As you recall, over the last 4 episodes, we covered the first level of the campaign, the suburbs. And now, just as I said, we are now returning to the suburbs to examine each and every dynamic sub-mission. As you caught at the start of the second episode, the sub-missions change based upon your campaign progression, and can be made harder or easier depending on when you go and who you take with you. This guide will hopefully help you figure out when to go to which submission, and if you are having any trouble with a particular submission. I've started a new game prior to any campaign progress, and will show you each and every variation. And for your leisure, I have timestamps in the description if you're looking for one in particular. Alright, you ready? Let's get started! And in the event you need any help finding a particular submission, I've got you covered on that as well. The first one we are going to check out is Hunt. As you can see, it is located right near Sam's house, which I've already gone ahead and gotten all the cubes for. Let's check it out. So, Prog 0 is actually completely empty. So, you just fail. Now, you might think this is a pointless addition, but it is a feature I actually really appreciate. Well, we can't do the hunt yet, so let's move on to the next one. Up next, we have Race, which is located near Chip Chase's. Turns out, this submission is exactly the same from the original version. There are no alterations, no differences, nothing. And it will stay the same from progression 0 to progression 3. It does, however, change at progression 4, but we'll cover that later. For now, it doesn't matter. Either race is fairly simple, so if you want to do it now, go for it, otherwise you can wait. Doesn't really matter. I will say that the second race is much shorter than this one, but it is also a lot tighter on time, so take that as you will. Personally, I would hit the second one just because it's new, and this one is just the same one you're used to, so that's really all I can say about this submission for now. This race was always one you cut kinda close, but it always comes down to the wire, so don't worry about that. It's still pretty easy. Up next, we have Scavenger, which can be found on top of a tank in the power plant. This is, without a doubt, the easiest version of this submission. So if you want the simplest one, this is it. There are no enemies to contend with, and it's pretty straightforward. Find the cogs, get in, get out. Really simple, not a lot here to worry about. If you, however, decide to wait and hit this after one of the missions, you will then have some enemies you will need to contend with. But for the most part, they won't give you a lot of trouble. Except for one of them. But I don't want to spoil that yet. For now, you just run around and collect cogs without a care in the world. I'll have some tips later that'll help you optimize your collecting time. I didn't discover this technique to one of my later takes of this submission, so I don't have them for you yet, but I will. And try not to stick to walls like an oaf, like this dude. He is costing me a lot of time. But yeah, overall, really simple. Finally, we have Sumo, which can be found at the junkyard. This one is completely empty as well, because there are no enemies currently on Earth. So, again, it may seem very unnecessary to do, but I really do like this inclusion. Was it needed? No. Do I like it? Yes. So that is all for the Progression 0 submissions. I will play through the first chapter off-screen and cut back with the new submissions. So I'll see ya in a bit. And starting off with the first Prog 1 submission, we have Hunt, which has changed quite a bit from what you may remember. First and foremost, instead of having Sector 7 to chase down, we now have Decepticons, which is already much better as far as gameplay goes, as now you actually have to force them out of vehicle mode to take them out. Instead of just picking up a vehicle and tossing it away, you actually have to do some hunting. This first version of the Hunt has 1 early drone forklift, 2 early drone defaults, and 1 drone pickup truck. The enemy types will change as you progress. And while the drones in this submission are the easiest you will encounter, I can't say Bumblebee is the best at this mission, because, as you can see, his vehicle weapons aren't doing a whole lot against this guy. And once you have them in robot mode, you'll want to take them out as fast as possible. And one of the best ways to do that is with a pull object. So, once you get a drone in robot mode, find a pull object, and swipe them dead. You'll cut through them super fast. And for more efficient ways to take them out in vehicle mode, I would use Bumblebee's heavy weapon. That, or smack them with a pull object, because that works pretty well too, provided they are slow enough. But yeah, once you got them in robot mode, grab a pull object, smack them dead. Absolute best option for Bumblebee. No, I don't know if this last dude just ran into something and was forced to convert, or if he's just a standard jogger. Anyway, he's the easiest of the bunch. He'll be no problem. And that is Hunt Prog 1. Let's continue to the next submission. Up next, we are back with Scavenger in Prog 1. This submission is pretty much the same as the one you just saw, although now you have a drone default who will just randomly pop up across the map. And he's easily dealt with. So this level pretty much plays exactly the same as the last one. Though a little tip to help you get through this submission a little faster is that you can actually jump and grab most of the cogs that are on buildings, as seen here. So you won't really have to climb any buildings except for one. And when you happen to come across Drone Default, just jump slam him and send him on his way. That's all you gotta do. Otherwise, this mission plays just like normal. Looks like someone's got an explosive temper. Darn it, B! Work! But yeah, there you go. Simple stuff. Let's move on to the next one. And concluding the Prog 1 submissions, we have Sumo, which performs pretty much like the original version. Although now, you don't have to fight one dropkick at a time. Instead, you get free, which doesn't make it harder or anything. In fact, it just makes the level go faster. The quickest way to take these guys out is with the jump slam. The only thing you really need to be mindful of is Mixmaster, as he won't block anymore when you're using melee attacks. Instead, he's gonna keep hitting you. Oh, and also, don't throw explosives. Otherwise, you just might end your run early, as I almost did. But I made a really good save here, huh? You gotta admit, that was cool, right? Nice save, Barricade. But yeah, just keep jump slamming those drop kicks, and you'll be done in no time. See? They're flying out left and right. Yeah, as you can see, simple stuff. That covers all of the Prog 1 submissions. Let's move over to Prog 2 submissions. Starting off Prog 2, we again have the Hunt. And as you can see, the enemies have indeed been changed. We now have 2 drone pickup trucks, 1 drone tow truck, and someone else who I will mention when we see him. The pickup truck drones are actually a lot easier to take down than the drone defaults, as they are much slower. So you can just blast them with the plasma cannon right off the bat. Once the second dropkick is down, turn around, and you can cut off the tow truck drone. And he behaves exactly like you're used to, so you don't need to change up strategies or anything. Just whack him with a pole, and then be sure to get away post-haste. Of course, by doing that, he will go flying, which might slow you down a little bit, but you only have to hit him once, so take that as you will. And he's out of there. Okay, we got one guy left. Can you guess who it is? That's right, it's Barricade! Shoot him! Or hit him! So, when dealing with Barricade, you naturally want to keep your distance. So, I recommend not doing that, first of all. Thrown objects aren't exactly great here, and if you're using melee, there's a good chance you'll be hit by his flail. So, what you want to do is, yes, first hit him with a throwable object, if you can grab it, and then shoot him. That will allow you to damage him without getting too close and getting hit. Plus, it's fast. So that is the way to deal with Barricade. Throw and shoot. That's all you gotta do. Plop. He did. Barricade got barricaded by Barricade. On to the next. Next up in Prog 2, we have Scavenger, which, despite the additional enemies, still isn't that difficult. Though, aside from just the drone default who will randomly spawn in, you do have a drone forklift who will chase you. Of course, forklifts are insanely slow, so he's barely even a condition to worry about. In addition to that, you also have Barricade. Yep, he's here too. Had I known that, I probably wouldn't have gone around that building like I did. So, don't do that. Fortunately, he is still pretty slow, so you won't have to worry about him that much. Just keep your focus on those cogs, remembering to use that jump trick that I mentioned in the last submission. And if Drone Default decides to show his ugly head, just jump slam him and send him on his way. Yeah, don't mind me trying to pick up an object here. I was trying to get rid of that message on the screen, and I shouldn't have done that. I should have just stayed on target, but just focus on the objective. You'll do fine, or at least do better. But, as you can see, still rather uneventful. Alright, there is one more Prog 2 submission to go. Let's head to it. That, of course, being Sumo, which I personally think is probably the toughest version of this submission, or at least one of them. And that is because we have an additional foe to contend with, that, of course, being Barricade. Yeah, all the submissions here pretty much have Barricade included, so, you know, who doesn't want more Barricade in their life? Anyway, he is the one you need to watch out for the most. So my best recommendation is to keep moving and keep knocking out those drop kicks. Yeah, honestly, you might be better off saving Barricade for last, as there are way more drop kicks than Barricades, and Barricade is still kind of slow. And for Pete's sake, don't play with explosives! And don't jump when somebody is punching you! And again with the explosives! Be careful! Get out of here. Yeah, I don't think Mixmaster gave me a whole lot of trouble. Again, I'd keep your focus on the drop kicks, but be mindful of Barricade's location. Ooh, look at him fly! Oh. Oh yeah, he comes back too. I'm gonna say, what, maybe 2 to 4 times? At least? I mean, this guy is pretty much the William Afton of Transformers, so he always comes back, somehow, some way. He just does. Oh, you're back. Don't get defensive, Barricade. Alright, he did. That was all for the Prog 2 submissions. We now move on to Prog 3. Starting off Prog 3, we again have Hunt, which is virtually identical to the last Hunt, except now Barricade is gone, replaced with a drone default, so a little bit easier. So you should be able to pull off this mission just like you did the last one. Blast them with the plasma, and finish them off with a nice stick. And rinse and repeat. Yeah, there really isn't anything I can add to this submission. Though, it doesn't appear that I can knock out Dropkick as well. Oh, that's fun. Lights out, dude. Oh, he went flying. I'll just blast him. Batter up. This would be a bit more appropriate if I actually had a bat equipped, wouldn't it? I'll have to do that. Okay, that means the only one we have left is that drone default. Maybe we have enough time to cut him off? Yeah, no! We don't. Yeah. Okay, That was a fail. And despite what I do here, do not try to chase this guy down this way. You're better off trying to cut him off. He's too fast, and your vehicle weapons just don't do enough for it to matter. So, cut him off from the front. Boom! Just like that. What a dolt. I guess he needs some fencing lessons. But it doesn't matter now, because he's dead. Yeah, as you can see, pretty similar to the last hunt. Let's move on to Scavenger. This one is pretty much the same as the last Scavenger, but with no barricade. So it's a little bit easier. Not that barricade made the last one particularly difficult, but now you can at least go around that building without a hindrance. So there's that. You do still have little Scrappy chasing you, but again, it's very unlikely he'll actually reach you, so he might as well not even be here. And you, of course, already know what to do with Drone Default should he show up. Yep, that's right. But, as you can see, drone or no drones, it's still a very simple submission. And it turns out that Prog Free Sumo is actually the same as Prog 1, so there's nothing really new to cover here. Well, I guess in that case, I'm going to call it an episode here. Now don't worry, we're not done yet. We have a plethora of submissions to cover post-chapter completion. And that video is going to be really long, so I think it's best if I split it up here. However, in conclusion to the Prog 0 through Free submissions, Prog 0 Scavenger is definitely the easiest, and I'd personally skip the race until after you complete the chapter, so that you can get some actual new content out of it and not repeat the same old thing. That's my 2 cents anyway. As for the hunt and sumo, I think we'll get into that later, in the next episode, because certain characters might make those missions a little bit easier. I'll run through those next time, and we can make a final verdict after that. Alright, that's all I got for this one, and we'll see you next time with the post-chapter completion submissions. Till then, keep your head in the ring.